Hi, the question today is, how can we travel more but spend less money?
That's a great question. And I started running into a term called geographical arbitrage when I was researching for our retirement plan. Geographical arbitrage, geo arbitrage.
Geo what?
Geo what?
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, and that's a very good question. I admit I had to look it up. And essentially all it means is we've earned money in the United States where salaries are high, and we want to go spend it where expenses are low. And that's our topic today. I am Mike.
And I'm Sue, and this is Phase 2 Travel.
So when you think about how you can save money on this whole idea of geographic arbitrage, I think there's two ways to think about this. The first way is you have a budget, and where can you spend less money? So our budget is about $6,000 a month for travel. And where can we go and only spend $4,000? Because that way we can use that money to go to places that are more expensive, Western Europe, aspirational travel, cruises to places that may be hard to get to.
More bang for our buck.
More bang for our buck. So, and then the second way, and I did this with a ChatGPT search, and what I put in and what I would advise you put in is, we currently live in, wherever it is you live, on X number of dollars per month. Where can I live or travel to on whatever your budget is? And it was surprising because it kicked out a lot of interesting places.
Well, and Mike likes his ChatGPT for sure. And we have actually, and that's kind of where this all started, is I was working away for 13 weeks and Mike just started researching away. So
watching YouTube and putting in terms into ChatGPT. So what we found
down to 3 locations.
Yeah, 3 locations. Okay. And the first location is Central and South America. We're not really interested in Mexico because, well, one, Sue grew up in New Mexico, but more importantly, we went to Mexico quite a bit, and it's just a little too touristy for our taste. So when we're talking about
nothing against Mexico, it's
not at all.
Yeah, we're going to focus more on Central and
and the first place we want to talk about is Panama.
Panama.
Yeah.
Panama always comes up on all the lists. So it's one of those cheaper places to travel for sure.
Right. And I think when we're talking about Central and South America, one, it is cheaper, which is the arbitrage part of it. 2, it's close to the United States.
It's a quick hop home.
Very quick hop.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of these places you can travel and it's very modern in most of these areas until you get out into the hinterland. In Panama's city, their capital, looks very, very modern. We've talked about going there several times, and it's just never, for whatever reason, has worked out.
Well, and for us, that area is a quick hop, skip, and a jump from where we live in Texas. So for sure, that's just looks appealing to us.
Right. And if you go to the western part of Panama, Boquete, a mountain town that a lot of expats like to go to. And that's the other thing. There will be a lot of American expats when you're especially in Central America, and including our next place that we want to talk about, that being Costa Rica.
Now, our daughter has been to Costa Rica, and she absolutely loved it. And we have heard amazing things about Costa Rica. I especially have heard a lot of things about the food, and Mike and I are foodies. So, but Costa Rica is supposed to be gorgeous.
Gorgeous, probably a lot more nature, and I know it's known for those, I guess, the volcanoes, the rainforest, and a lot of people like to go there and engage in outdoor type activities. Speaking of food, the next place is really known for its food, and that's Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia is, it got a bad rap for a while.
Oh, yeah.
It did, but
Yeah,
it's
rightfully so.
yes, and definitely coming back. And they're really trying to get tourists there.
Yeah, it's very vibrant, great food area. And again, there's direct flights to the United States. And it's a place that we may consider.
For sure.
One place that's starting to get a lot of attention that, 5-10 years ago, I'd never thought of, and that is Guatemala.
Yeah, lots of people go to. In fact, we have some friends that are missionaries there, and it is gorgeous. The pictures are the lush, the green. Just it seems.
Yeah,
really neat.
there's several lakes there that are kind of hollowed out of volcanoes that I definitely think I would enjoy seeing and
definitely.
spending time there.
Wow.
And then the one that
That's on my bucket list for
that's
sure.
absolutely on Sue's bucket list. It's a little bit farther, so while the first four places we talked about is just a hop, skip, and jump. Argentina.
Argentina comes up a lot on the cruises, and with Argentina, and then you do Antarctica. But for me, Argentina, I was a teacher, and we did a world party thing, and I had Argentina for 23 years, and I always felt like the school should have sent me to Argentina as I retired, so I could go there. But just to see my big bucket list there are a couple things. The meat. I know that sounds crazy, but it's very Texan, and the wine. It's where they make Malbec, and that would be heavenly to me. But really, the big bucket list for me there would be the Iguazu Falls, and I just, they're just awe-inspiring. I just want to go see those. That's like after Africa. That's my next thing.
Okay, fair enough. So Argentina is certainly on our bucket list, and like Sue started with. It's also a place where you can get a lot of cruises to Antarctica. And I think that's something we're certainly interested in doing. And at some point, we will do that.
I will just go to all the wine tours that I'll drag him with me.
So the second area that we're looking at for this geographical arbitrage is Eastern Europe. And we've been to several of these countries, but we have no problem going back
No
because
kidding,
they're
yeah.
absolutely amazing. And the first one is Poland, where we've been twice.
Love Poland. When Mike first suggested we go to Poland, I kind of looked at him like he was crazy, but so cheap. The people were lovely, and the country is just beautiful. And we love the food there. I love the food. It's not a place people go, oh, I'm going to Poland, but I don't know. I just fell in love with Poland. I want to go back for sure.
Yeah, and I think as a slow traveler, is certainly an area that you can definitely save a lot of money.
A lot of money.
I mean, we ate right off the main square in Krakow. We had a pizza. Sue had a glass of wine. I had a beer. $11, which...
Amazing.
Amazing.
And we even
amazing.
went in winter.
Yeah.
And I remember they have these big, heavy doors, and you get behind the door, and it's like cozy heaven with the fireplace. And I loved it.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was more spring.
Well, for us, it was winter.
It was still very cold.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And Gdansk is a beautiful little city, and we had just a wonderful time there. And we actually spent Christmas in a city I can't pronounce the name, Wrocław, WRO.
That was our funny little Christmas story, Christmas.
Yeah.
And there was nothing open. And we literally had to go to a Chinese restaurant for our Christmas Eve because there was nothing open.
Right.
We had a good laugh.
we still had a great time, and Poland is wonderful. The next place is one we haven't been to. Really two places,
Right.
Bulgaria and Romania. Bulgaria, it's on a lot of cities on the sea that look wonderful. I don't know a lot about it, but it certainly comes up on lists. And also Romania. And for me, I've always wanted to go to Transylvania. And
It's your young boy Dracula in you.
I think I actually planned a trip there. And then it was during COVID times, and we didn't get to go.
Yeah. The next one is Albania.
Yeah.
And Albania we have been to, and that was another one that I looked at Mike. like he was crazy. I'm like, why would we go to Albania? It's right near Greece. You can actually see it from several of the Grecian islands. And we had a ball there.
Yeah, we took a 45-minute cruise from, or boat ride from Corfu. And the reason why people go to Albania is because if you want to slow travel there, it is cheap. And two, you can stay there for up to 1 year.
A whole bunch of time.
Right.
Yeah.
So people exhaust their 90 days in Europe and then they'll head over to Albania and stay there for at least 90 days until they can come back into Europe.
The tour guide on the bus tour was pointing out like right in the downtown, the apartments, and they were like $400 for the month, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Very inexpensive. I remember we were on the main promenade and had a double ice cream, 2-scoop ice cream cone.
I do remember
and
that.
it was €1. The next place within this area of the world would really be considered Central Europe, but that would be the Czechia or the Czech Republic, and we've been to Prague. Yes, Prague.
It's storybook, fairy tale, to me, Disney-esque come to life.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. And I think we would probably spend more than $4,000 in Prague
For sure.
But it's still a great place, and you could possibly save $1,000 or so there. And if you stayed out in the hinterland, like Český Krumlov was one of our favorite places we've ever been. And
I close my eyes and the memories in there. It's literally magical.
Right. And then the last place we want to talk about in Eastern Europe is a place we've been to, and that's Hungary.
Yeah.
And we love Budapest. Again, that's going to be a little bit more expensive unless if you stay certainly outside the city. But even within the city, it's very, very reasonable. And what did you enjoy the most about Budapest?
When you talk about those places, they just kind of make me feel warm and fuzzy. I don't know. They were just, I want to go enchanting, magical, the bridges, I don't know, the food. The
food was wonderful.
So good. Yeah. That was the place you got the cheap beer.
Yeah, well, Český Krumlov.
Yeah, wasn't it like...
Yeah, but Budapest...
Okay, yeah, I'm getting them confused.
Still wonderful, but what Budapest is known for, and you remember this, the spas.
Oh, yeah, we sat in fact, off our cruise, we did it again, because you could go in, it's real cheap for the day. You go in and you go from pool to pool to pool, and it's... Talk about relax. I told Mike when we were there, I was like, if we could do this every Friday night, I would be a happy person. But it was very inexpensive.
Yeah, it was like $20 a person. It is inexpensive. It's medicinal. I have a hard time with that, but it certainly was relaxing, and I would do it tomorrow if I had
we even went in winter, and you go from pool to pool, and you're whoo, and then you get it. But it's pretty amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of a little bonus area here, not in Eastern Europe, and that's the Baltic States. And I think it would be wonderful to go to the Baltic States of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Really, during the summertime, it's going to be cooler there. I can see us, we could fly from Dallas to Finland and then take a boat across the water and get to the Baltic States. And a lot cooler, very inexpensive, and then go back into Europe during the fall. So I think Eastern Europe is going to play a pretty vital role in our retirement. And then the last place, it's the place I love the most and am most excited about going to, and that's Southeast Asia.
And he's going to have to teach me all about it because I have yet to go.
Yeah, there are. I think you could spend your entire time there, just going from country to country to country. Most of the countries you can be there for 60 days. Vietnam, 90 days. You got to get a little visa. Very inexpensive, very easy to do. And between Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Cambodia, Philippines, and Laos, all of these countries have a lot to offer. The people are tremendous. The kindest people I've ever met. I actually dropped my passport in the airport, and of course I panicked, and I thought, okay, retrace your steps. I did learn something in my Boy Scout years, and I did retrace it, and there it was. No one touched it. And it had been a good
took
5
care of you.
minutes.
They took care
Well,
of you.
I mean, they just left it where they probably figured they'll come back.
They'll come back for it.
And
yeah.
you will see people going to the mall, putting their cell phone on a table, kind of reserving their spot.
That's unheard of.
And no one messes with it. And it's just a fascinating place. And all of these places, and here's how I kind of want to conclude this, is these are places we want to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
for sure.
And the idea of being able to save money, travel longer in places we want to be is just fascinating to me. And so that's how we plan to use geographic arbitrage. And we hope to see you out there. We're Mike.
And I'm Sue.
And we're Phase 2 Travel.
Thank you. See you next time.